This is probably my favorite thing is somebody says, I have a small yard. Don't you get tired of hearing that? I've got a small yard. What would we charge to cut it? Oh, my goodness. If I had a nickel, I don't know what, fill in the blank, a nickel, a dime, a dollar, whatever, there's no telling how rich we'd all be, right? Every time we've heard, well, I've got a small yard. How do you respond to that? Honest to God, how do you respond to that? I got something funny I always ask them. I say, okay, you got a small yard. Let me ask you this. If you're selling your house, would you list it as a house with a small yard? And it's kind of funny how they kind of laugh and they'll say, well, no, not really. Or somebody, how about the phone call where somebody says, hey, what do you charge to cut an acre? What's your response to that? Do you use your minimums on the telephone? You should. We talked about this the other day. But certainly you should. It's not bad giving minimums over the phone. It certainly helps eliminate some of that tire kicking that goes on. But how do you respond to that? How much do you charge to cut an acre? Honest to God, I'll tell you what my response to that, if that's the phone call I get. If that's the phone call I get, I honestly tell them, this guy says, I get the acre thing all the time. Absolutely, we all do. What do you charge to cut an acre? Try this next time somebody asks you that. Say, as much as I can get. As much as I can get. Another text from a fellow here. Let me just clicked off there. He says, that's when I let them know we service yards every week and our minimum is $50. Absolutely. It helps eliminate some of that tire kicking. I appreciate you guys shooting those texts in to me. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I appreciate it. Because I know it happens to every one of us. But professionally, have a little fun with it. Next time somebody says, hey, what do you charge to cut a yard? Or what do you charge to cut an acre? Smile when you say it. Because, my mom used to always say, well, you can say whatever you want as long as you smile when you say it. And try that. Say, hey, I charge as much as we can get. They kind of, there'll be dead silence on the phone for a minute. But after you get through the dead silence part of it, after about 3 or 4 seconds, if they don't say anything, then kind of laugh about it and say, no, here's what our minimums are. But they can appreciate the fact that you're not going to be the cheapest. And if they say, well, it is all about cost, and it's just cutting grass, that's another thing that just blows my mind away. I hate that when somebody says, well, it's just cutting grass. That's a little bit offensive to me. What about you all? You guys feel a little bit offended by that when they say, well, it's just cutting grass? I think what we do goes way past cutting grass. A kid cuts grass. And I say that with all due respect to young guys out there cutting a few lawns. We're a professional service. When I say we're, not Wayne's Lawn Service, yes, we are, but you, specifically you're a professional service. And when they tell you, oh, it's just cutting grass, and it's not just cutting grass. That's kind of like, man, it's just one of the things that rubs me the wrong way. But for the person that, tells you, hey, it's all about cost, I think they're really doing us a favor, don't you guys? How they doing us a favor? They're letting me use those 24 hours I got on something more constructive. I can do more. Hey, when they tell me that, I'm finished with the conversation. Hey, if that's really all that's important to you is the cost, I'm probably not your guy. I think the best thing we can do is professionally part ways because we know we're not going to be the least expensive service you can hire, nor do we want to be. And that's when you specifically just ask the customer, have you been mowing your lawn yourself? And you know what the answer is going to be. Well, no. Well, then where's the person that was mowing your lawn? And you can ask that professionally. And what do we 9 times out of 10 hear when we ask that question? Well, they haven't showed up, or I've tried to call them and they're not calling back. There you go. That's what you get when you get fast and cheap. It's not good. It's not dependable.